All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our last review before a quiz. Should not be that difficult, so without further ado, let's roll. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and factor. Now, this is the difference of two squares, so it factors into x squared plus 4 and x squared minus 4. Keep in mind, it's an x to the fourth, so I had to do x squared plus 4 and x squared minus 4. After that, I have to break this down. So I'm going to keep this x squared plus 4, and then this breaks down into, right here, x plus 2, x minus 2. So which one does that match up with? I have 3 sets of parentheses, and I have D. All right, so D for number 1. All right, now I'm going to try to color code these as best I can. Now, for number 2, all right, down here, I'm going to first take out an x squared from those two. You're left with x plus 2. And then here I'm going to take out a 6. You're left with x plus 2, which is good because they match. So you're taking x plus 2 out. You are left with x squared plus 6. Which one does that match up with? C! Alright, so DC. Alright. Next color. I'm going to do the same thing with factoring by grouping here. I'm going to take out an x squared there. When I do that, I'm left with x minus 3. Here, I have a negative 4, so I'm going to take out a negative 4. They both have a 4 in common. When we take out a negative 4 from each of them, we get x, and then 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. So then I'm going to take out this x minus 3. I'm left with x squared minus 4, which means that can be factored just like I did right here. So the x minus 3 stays, and I have x plus 2, x minus 2. So that one matches up with E. D, C, E. All right, now this is going to be kind of crazy. Just erase all this stuff now to give myself some more room. Should probably leave those highlighted over there so we don't pick those again, right? So D, C, and E. So the middle's gone. Right on. Okay, next up. Here, I can take out a 5. When I take out that 5, I'm left with x to the third plus 1. Well, there's a sum of 2 cubes right there. So that means the 5 is going to stay. This came from x to the third, and this came from 1 to the third. So it's going to be x plus 1. Don't forget, same, opposite, positive, then x squared, 1x, and 1. Now, it's not going to match up exactly because of that. Which one should that match up with? I believe F. Yeah, that one's done in the books. Then I'm going to break out my orange. Now this one is just a sum of 2 cubes. So I can go ahead and just go right to factoring. Same, opposite, positive, SOP. So I have x plus, this came from 3 to the third. So x plus 3, and then I have x squared, 3x, and 9 that goes in there. So then that would be A. Now, the next two you might be able to do just by, elimination, process of elimination, but I'm going to go ahead and do it all the way out. So this is 2x to the third, and this is 1 to the third. So another sum of 2 cubes here. So same, opposite, positive. So this is 2x plus 1, and then I have 4x squared, because that's where a squared goes, right? So you take 2x times 2x, and that's where that came from. Then 2x, because 2x times 1, and then 1. So that should match up with B. And then we could just assume that you realize that this is going to be G, but I'm going to do it anyway. Why not? You don't have anything better to do right now. Me neither. So this is the difference of 2 squares. It's going to look similar to number 1, how we keep factoring after the first one. So they don't have anything in common, but I can do 4x squared plus 9 and 4x squared minus 9. Now that doesn't match up with everything, or with G yet, because this is the difference of 2 squares as well. So the 4x squared plus 9 stays, but then this breaks down, since it's the difference of 2 squares, into 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. Okay, matching portion done. Now, here we go, difference in sum. I've done a bunch of sums, so let me do some differences here. So once again, Same, opposite, positive. It's the same. Same, opposite, positive. Okay, so once again, a minus b, and then a squared plus ab, and then b squared. So it'd be x minus 1, x squared, 1x, 1. For the record, x to the third power gives me x to the third power. 1 to the third power gives me 1. So that's where we got that from. Now, the only difference over here, that's still going to be x to the third power, but this 64 is the same thing as 4 to the third power. So my b is 4 on this. So it would be x minus 4. And then it would be x squared, 4x, and then b squared, which goes right there, is going to be 16. All right, so those two are done. Shouldn't be that bad. All right, now factoring by grouping. I'm going to take an x squared out of those. I'm left with x plus 3. I'm going to take a 2 out of these two. I'm left with x plus 3. Well, that matches, so we can keep going. So I have x plus 3, and I'm left with x squared plus 2, and I am done factoring that problem. Can't go any further. Here I'm going to take out an x squared. I'm left with x minus 1. Here I'm going to take out a positive 1. I'm going to take out, positive 4. I'm left with x minus 1 as well. So those two factor. X minus 1, I'm left with x squared plus 4. Can I keep factoring? The answer is no. That's a sum of two squares, not a difference. So that is all you can do. All right, next up, let me change the color here. So I'm going to take an x squared out of the first two. I'm left with x plus 5. Here I'm going to take, well, I don't have anything in common, so I'm going to take out a 1. I'm still left with x plus 5. Those match. So x plus 5. Take that out and I'm left with x squared plus 1. Done. Then I take out an x squared over here. When you do that, you're left with x minus 6. Here, they don't have anything in common, so I'm going to take out a 1. And I'm left with x minus 6. So then I get x minus 6. When you take that out, you're left with x squared plus 1. All right. Now, more factoring by grouping. Let's rip through these. We'll get x squared, get x plus 4, and then plus 3, x plus 4. So I get x plus 4. When you take that out, you're left with x squared plus 3. Done. Here, I'm going to take out an x squared. I'm left with x minus 5. Here, I'm going to take out a 2. I'm still left with x minus 5. So when you factor those out, x minus 5, you're left with x squared plus 2. Done. All right, so let's find the real number solutions. Now, we're going to go all the way through 28, I believe. But I'm going to just do a couple examples here because we should already be all right on these. Now, on number 21, real number solutions. Here we go. I'm going to factor out an x squared first. Get x minus 3 left. Now, since that's a 3, I should have 3 solutions. X squared is the same thing as x times x. All right, now you don't need to know that, but it helps knowing how many times we get 0 as a solution. So if I have x minus 3 set equal to 0, I add 3 to both sides, I get x equals 3. That's one solution. My others come from here, because I should have 3 total solution or zeros here. So since we set each of those equal to 0, I get my 2 more zeros there. Now it's the same one. So we could say x equals 0 with a multiplicity of 2. So there's my solution there. Or there are my solutions. These, we should be able to factor those pretty easily. I'm going to do one of these just to remind you exactly why we get plus or minus. I'll do number 25. Now, this is the difference of 2 squares. One way to do that is to factor it into x plus 10 and x minus 10 equals 0. So that means x plus 10 gets set equal to 0, and x minus 10 gets set equal to 0 as well. So I get x equals negative 10 when you subtract 10 from both sides. And when you add 10 to both sides, you get x equals positive 10. Now, another way to look at that problem is, well, if I already know I'm going to get a solution here, I'm just going to go ahead and set x squared minus 100 equal to 0? It already is. So let's add 100 to both sides. You get x squared equals 100. Square root both sides. What's the square root of 100? It's 10. Now that's not it. We have to put plus or minus in front of it. Then we're good. These are the same answers, just written two different ways. That's really it. Okay. Now let me go ahead and do, well, I'll do both of these, why not? And then I'll be done. So it's x squared. Take out an x squared and you're left with x plus 2. Here I'm going to take out a negative 1 and I'm left with x plus 2. So now I'm going to factor that out. X plus 2 is factored out. You're left with x squared minus 1. So now I'm going to factor this now. X plus 2. If you want to, I'm going to. This is going to be x plus 1 and x minus 1. It's a difference of two squares. So we get 3 zeros. X equals negative 2 from here, and plus or minus 1 from those two. And last but not least, I'm going to take out an x squared, I'm left with x minus 1. And then I take out a negative 4 over here. Now when we take out a negative 4, we're left with x minus 1. So now I'm going to take out that x minus 1. I'm left with x squared minus 4. Okay. Now, I can work with this. I'm going to go ahead and do x minus 1. And I'm going to factor this. This is a difference of two squares. X plus 2, x minus 2. So then over here I get three different solutions. I get x is equal to 1, negative 2, and positive 2. Or I could have written it as plus or minus 2. Okay, so you're going to finish the rest of the problems 1 through 28 that I did not complete. Thank you very much.